What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage. We are back. Oh my goodness, it feels like it's been for fuck ever since I've recorded. Like, I've recorded some other podcast stuff, but I really just haven't picked anything to post. Like, I listen back over stuff and it's like, I don't want to post this type stuff, or man, I need to edit this, or whatever the hell. So I got other stuff recorded and I'm working on some other stuff, but it's just been forever for me to really edit and post anything, but yeah, no, glad to be back. I was on the road for quite a few weeks, and then came back and immediately turned right back around to go on vacation with me and another buddy, 8 Ball. He is just really awesome. I was glad he was willing to let me ride along with him for the vacation and whatnot. But I was out of town for a good bit with that as well. So it was really cool though. Got to see a lot of interesting stuff as well as just really had a good time. Was able to relax and be able to unwind. Um, but no, let's get right into this today. It's a Billy Solo cast today. This is a little bit tougher nowadays with trying to coordinate as far as like schedules with other people. Plus, it's the end of the year. This is December 16th when I'm recording this. This is I'm gonna try to post it later this week or something like that. But this is the end. This is the last month of 2018. Christmas is within like a week and a half. Like, oh my goodness, 2018 feels like it's been going by just crazy fast. A lot of stuff has gone on this year, both with Weiss, as far as like Weiss Schwarz stuff being announced, stuff going on with that, as well as a whole bunch of stuff within my personal life. Like, I lost my dad earlier this year. I got a new job that's literally let me, see the entire near about the whole country, one coast to the other. It's really crazy in that regard. So with the good, there's the bad with the good and all that jazz. But I'm not here to complain about what's going on in my life or the shenanigans that's going on with me. We're obviously here to talk about Weiss content, and let's get right into this. First and foremost, because I have, before this was announced, I ended up buying like 2 more boxes of the Bang Dream Girls Band Party. Basically cleared out my locals as far as their their product for Girls Band Party, as far as all that they had left. Still got a little bit of the first set, so I'm grabbing that. Excuse me. But like prior to prior to that, I didn't know we were going to be getting another whole entire like booster set thing. We have the Girls Band Party Multi Live, which says it's a booster pack, and that's going to be just interesting. I've been going ham with Bang Dream, about as ham as I went with like Kantai when I first was getting into this. I'm not even really messing with like the European fleet or whatever for Kantai, but there is a lot of just setups and combinations for like climax combos and whatnot that I'm wanting to work on so much with, like between the first 2 sets, that we got a whole nother set already announced. And supposedly, like, I have yet to really look into this set, but I am working on it. This is also announced for like English. Like, I'm looking at the English Weiss Schwarz site, and also kudos to Bushiroad. I will give credit where credit is due. The update to the site looks a hell of a lot better. Like, the layout is changed, and it just looks better, a little more organized and whatnot. So hey, awesome there. I'm definitely going to be going into this. I don't know if this is going to have like promos and whatnot. Like, I doubt we're ever going to get that Kasumi promo, but oh my goodness, if we do, I'm going to be going ham with that. Oh my lord. The ReZero set got delayed like another week or something. It's like the last week in December. By the time it comes out, I'll be back on the road for like another 2 weeks or something like that. Definitely going to be getting into that a little bit. Obviously getting the trial deck plus for another Trial by Fire. Speaking of, I have a Trial by Fire for Fate Apocrypha in the works. I say in the works because I had the deck together, and then Moroku wanted to work on a couple deck ideas that required trial deck stuff. So a whole bunch of cards from that had to go towards a deck that he's currently working on, that we're both collaborating on and working on a couple different iterations for that deck. This actually we're going to end up doing a deck profile for at some point, but I haven't done the Trial by Fire for Fate Apocrypha yet because of that. I haven't been able to test out the Trial Deck Plus Trial by Fire for that, and I want to be able to run the deck obviously without before I try to post anything. That's what I like to do with the Trial by Fire, is to give my input and kind of a little bit of feedback, maybe do some edits before I actually do like a deck profile or whatever. But obviously we're going to be doing I'm definitely going to be getting ReZero. I was initially thinking I was going to be going like balls deep into the ReZero set. In fact, we've already got like a confirmed booster pack 2. Like the second booster pack has already come out in JP. JP got it. Sorry, I'm looking over this stuff. When did JP get ReZero? JP got ReZero second booster pack back in July. And we have confirmed going to be getting it in English before we even got the first booster set. There's no date for it just yet. It just is coming soon. Oh, shoot. What else has JP gotten? There's another Bang Dream Poppin' Party Trial Deck Plus or whatever the fuck. They just got that recently. I say recently, but it's been within the past month. Oh, yeah, within the past couple weeks. They got that. The Idolmaster Million Live Trial Deck Plus came out. The Yuna and the Haunted Springs Trial Deck Plus, that came out. The booster pack for that also just came out. Today's the 16th. It came out 2 days ago. So the Yuna and Haunted Springs cards are out. Later this week, we're getting JP is getting the Review Starlight booster pack. And the beginning of the year, confirmed dates for Idolmaster Million Live booster pack is like later in January. I don't know if we're going to... I mean, we've gotten the first Idolmaster set. We haven't gotten the Cinderella Girls Volume 2. Million Live, I think, is... I've not played this, so if I'm wrong on this, I apologize. But Million Live, if I remember correctly, is one of the mobile games. Or is based off it's based off one of the mobile games. I could be incorrect on that, it's whatever. But we haven't gotten Cinderella Girls Volume 2. So I don't think we'll be getting Million Live just yet. I feel like if we get Million Live, they need to give us Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Volume 2 first. Personal opinion, I don't know, but we already have the first set over here, and it's been out for... I think Cinderella Girls Volume 1 has been out almost as long as I've been playing this game. So good couple years in that regard. But I mean, I guess we could get Million Live. To my understanding, Million Live is a whole separate set of girls. I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know. Also, the cards aren't fully out for it yet, so I honestly don't know. I just know a couple of the girls that are supposed to be in it. And then that's January 25th of next year, 2019. Overlord is getting a Trial Deck Plus and a booster set in February. Man, just crazy stuff. Shoot. Anyway, that's JP. English also doesn't have confirmed dates yet. I know we've talked about it before. The SAO Alternative Gun Gale Online. The Card Captor Sakura stuff has confirmed dates, supposedly February 22nd. Supposedly, which is like also a Trial Deck Plus, a booster pack, and a supply set, quote unquote. I don't know what the fuck that is. But then we also, like, supposedly, I think they're still working on No Game No Life. There was a issue with like No Game No Life in a couple of the local shops, as far as like in my state, in North Carolina. There was an issue with both No Game No Life and Two of Rue, in which those sets, the use of those sets in local tournaments got banned. Like, you couldn't use it because people were getting offended by the artwork. I fully recognize that a lot of the stuff in there can be very lewd. How how do I put this? Because I don't want to feel like I'm on either side of the bandwagon as far as like whether I'm for or against it. I feel that Bushiroad should look at that a bit better in production, because there was a lot of TLR stuff that was still edited. Like there's like, I don't know if this is also just taken like how it was taken straight from the anime, but there was a meme going around with like some of the Two of Ru cards where it was like a lot of the whole censorship with rays of light blocking stuff. I realize, various poses or outfits could still be considered very lewd as far as a lot of the stuff was set up. I mean, admittedly, the cards in the Ren Rune engine were very, very evident of this, but I feel a lot of that stuff could have just been caught like in production, and now people who have invested in the set are upset that they've bought into these sets and they can't use them. I don't know how strong of a set the No Game No Life set is. I'm still looking into it. I've only really looked at the Trotic Plus, really. I haven't even looked that much at the booster set, and I need to, because all of it's out in JP, so I need to check that out. But for a while, TLR was still, to my understanding, is still a very strong deck, strong competitor with the Yamikon setup. I mean, I think I've run and tested all three of the like main builds that you can do between Yamikon, Aliens, and the Animal Plant deck. We're still missing stuff because there's a second set for TLR that we haven't gotten yet. And I almost wonder if people were complaining about TLR because they just didn't want to fight against Yamikon. Like Yamikon's that deck's worst setup is like playing against AOT. So it makes me wonder if some AOT players... Well, no, AOT is pretty good against it. It makes me wonder if other decks just really couldn't handle it, because the level 3 Yami combo is just very strong. I don't know how that is with No Game No Life. No Game No Life definitely has very lewd art, and I will completely admit that so does TLR. But it almost makes me wonder if it's an issue of how strong the set is, not so much the art. Not so much people trying to say, oh yeah, no, I'm offended by this, quote unquote, so that they don't have to fight against Yamikon, or they don't have to fight against any iteration of it because they just don't want to get raffle wrecked by it or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, this could just be me talking out my ass. It's whatever. I don't know the full thing with that. I just know there was a lot of controversy over it, and some more stuff. I'm actually going to go into that later in closer to the end of the podcast. Just not right now. There's some other stuff in there I want to address, but I just thought that was weird. So it makes me wonder. Basically, I think that may be a reason why No Game No Life for English still has like a coming soon banner up here, not so much a set date, because right now we don't have anything projected for January. Let's see what else. Konosuba 2 came out. Oh my goodness, there's just so many sets that have come out in this year. And I was looking over like the deck recipes, like as far as like the regionals, and what decks have topped. I realize the English Weiss site isn't the most how should I put this? Isn't the most consistent in in deck profiles as far as correctness. There's been times where I've gone, why the fuck is this in the deck? This isn't right. Why does this have this name up here and it's not the right picture? They get shit wrong a lot. But for the most part, I think even if the deck profile up there isn't correct, I'm fairly certain a lot of the names of what has won is correct for the most part. I was looking over a lot of it, and one of the things I've noticed, especially in the latter half of the year, I say latter half of the year, Springfest was the team regionals. Me, Timmy, and another guy from our locals named Taylor went and competed in that. We ended up not topping or whatever. We got really close, and I thought that was cool, but we just weren't able to. I got sacked by Conti. That was crazy. Oh my god. It was so freaking awesome, though. It just was a really good time. We got to meet a whole bunch of people from the podcast group. Waifu Wars, Cypher Zero. No, Cypher Zero wasn't there. I'm sorry. Enrique was. Aaron Value. I know he's been on the podcast quite a few times. We got to meet a bunch of the people. I still need to do a podcast with Cypher Zero. I've been meaning to get up with him about that. We try to do a collab with him at some point. I know he's been putting out more Weiss content. Go check him out. But that was really cool, and I really much enjoyed a lot of that. And seeing, I like the team set up a bit better as far as how stuff goes with as far as like best 2 out of 3, not just a best 1 of. Because I think that was another issue that came a while back. Strictly Broken actually put out like one of his rant videos talking about how that is an issue with Weiss, and I can definitely agree with them on that in that regard, where it being a best 1 of, you could get fucked in like just your opening hand, or just, you know, you could get screwed over. The fact also that I like the fact that Weiss doesn't have like a side deck like MTG or Yu-Gi-Oh does, so I can understand where definitely doing best 1 ofs can be an aggravation when it's you know, one person versus one person. But in the team battles where it's best 2 out of 3, I kind of like that setup a bit more. You have a better chance of being able to advance with 3 people like that. I do very much enjoy that setup, and I plan to do that again this coming up year. As long as they decide to do the team battles again, I definitely plan to try to go up there. Probably try to get a little bit more of a bit more team coordination. Admittedly, Timmy went really fucking far with Prisma Ilya Jewel Burn, and it doesn't have all of the stuff yet that JP has, and I thought that was just fucking kudos to him with that shit. That was great. Some of the stuff he did with that was amazing. But like that was really awesome at the beginning of the year with Springfest, and the latter half of this year with Fall Fest. There's just been like a whole bunch of regionals that have been posted up here, and I didn't even get to go through like all of Europe. I just was looking through like America, and shoot, I'm gonna like try reviewing over a whole bunch of this stuff. I'm not gonna go over every single one. I'm just gonna kind of like glance over. I like at the very beginning of like July or so, or whenever it started, like the first regionals that started, I think it was like Chicago or something. A Gurren Lagann deck topped. Shoutouts to Clinton Chan. AOT still topped. Konosuba did. You still saw AOT in almost every single regionals as far as topping. But after the Sunshine Extra Booster came out, you saw Sunshine and Bang Dream like just topping so much. A lot of variations of Bang Dream I definitely liked. Seeing that, it says in Texas there were 2 Bang Dream decks that topped, and AOT. The AOT one being for Riaz. Hey man, congrats on that. Bang Dream, double Bang Dream in the Canada Richmond one with the Sunshine. It's like a whole bunch of Bang Dream and a whole bunch of Love Live Sunshine. And I like that because, one, I like to see Bang Dream topping because I've been so heavily invested in it, working on it and everything. But I've also noticed just how much Sunshine has been topping, and that's like crazy. Admittedly, the big thing with that also is the fact that Sunshine is at full power. In Sunshine, or in JP, there are like 3 cards on the JP ban list that are a pick 1 of 3. You can only run that card. There's a level 0 Kana, a level 1 Ruby, and a level 2 Rico. All that kind of work together towards one combo. And the fact that we don't have a ban list in English, straight up is just insanity that you can run that in full power, and it's been topping a whole bunch. Still, AOT does a lot of tops. It's just, I remember seeing AOT random Persona 5 as in Hawaii. Shoutouts to Jimmy Hendrix. Straight up just getting in there with P5. Awesome, dude. So I'm reading over this as I'm talking. But like used to, I remember seeing sometimes where AOT topped like first, second, and third. I mean, fucking like Worlds last year, I think most of that was AOT. As far as even in the top 8 was mostly Attack on Titan, or even at there was another regionals that was like 6 of the top 8 was Sword Art Online, all and in very little variations of how the decks were played or how the decks were set up. Let's see, I'm just kind of looking through. Shoutouts also to the random fucker with Nizakoi getting second place, but even more so to the dude running Fate Apocrypha getting first place in Mexico. That was fucking awesome. Not the build that I would have expected, but I very much like the build that the dude used. But like, I don't know what the hell the Nizakoi dude was just on some of that good luck all day apparently. I don't know. But I mean, shoot, dude, shout outs to you. Like, I remember seeing like AOT being such a dominant force, and now it seems like Sunshine and Bang Dream are the 2 top contenders. As far as like in representation, at least me looking in Europe here. Okay, the first one in Europe in like France is like just AOT and SAO. I'm going to look back over that again later. But then the very next one is like Double Sunshine and an AOT. AOT is still so freaking huge because it's so strong. Next one after that's got 2 SAOs. See, I hardly saw any SAO topping in America. But like Europe, SAO is just killing it. Hell, the one after that's SAO double AOT. Oh shoot, another new Kantai got first place in Italy and Rome with a whole bunch of the new cards. Obviously Z3's in there. Definitely Run to the Prince Ujin combo, and it seems the Fubuki finisher and Prince Ujin restander. Oh, also using Congo for the Congo standby fire. So no Hatsukazes in that whatsoever. So shoutouts to dude man there, Florian Roth. I hope I pronounced your name right there. Portugal. I got like 3 more, and I've just been like perusing through a whole bunch of this stuff. Like America definitely seems to be mostly Sunshine and Bang Dream, with AOT obviously still being a very big top contender. Let's see, in Portugal, Sunshine, SAO, and Bang Dream. It's just a whole... Goodness gracious, that is a lot of Bang Dream. Double Bang Dream in New Zealand. Freaking awesome. And AOT predominant in Bang Dream in the last one for the Philippines. Goodness gracious. Like, it is really cool to be able to see Bang Dream just topping so much, and I really like that. I fully expected it just because of how strong like a lot of the stuff is. Hell, I think I can't remember I think you can only run like 1 copy of the Kasumi promo in JP or like for their ban list. I just really like it. I'm gushing over it a whole bunch and I shouldn't, but whereas you used to see AOT being like winning almost every single regionals or you know, obviously topping, there was quite a few that I saw that, you know, AOT only got as high as 3rd. You know, outside obviously like UA got first place at one of them. I think it was the California regionals, got first place with AOT. But most of the time, it's been something else. And then like AOT still sprinkled in there here and there, but there were even quite a few where AOT didn't top at all. And I was like, or even in Europe, there were some where AOT didn't top at all. And I feel that a big thing for that is where AOT has been able to do so much denying on-reverse advantage that people have just strayed away from the on-reverse advantage completely. And I figured that was something that was going to happen eventually. There's still decks, even within Bang Dream, like the Yukina combo that requires on-reverse and could be easily disrupted. But I feel that like even the combos, like the Kasumi Twinkle Twinkle Little Star combo, or the Yukina from the level 1 Yukina from the trial deck combo, none of that requires on reverse combos, even with Sunshine, a lot of the stuff does not really require on reverse combos to go off and do what they aim to do. A lot of it's just big bodies or something of that nature. Like standby decks that I've been messing with and whatnot seems to be a big thing where you can just put like some big bodies on the field and your opponent just can't get over it type thing. They're not even having to rely on reverse combos hardly at all, which is crazy, but understandable that people needed to stray away from that to be able to not get, I don't want to say cucked, but not get shafted, I'll say that. To not get stopped by Attack on Titan's shenanigans of being able to just go, oh, you don't get your reverse combos, oh, you don't get your reverse combos, in whatever way, shape, or form, whether that's through the level 1 Aaron or the omnidirectional mobility gears. It's freaking insane. And because of that, I feel that the decks that do not have to require that as much are able to stand out a good bit more and able to shine, quote unquote, sunshine. No, bad jokes. But they're able to do a lot more and are much more prominent because of that. And I like that. I like being able to see variety. Even though I saw a whole bunch of those topping, a lot of it was still variety in how the decks were played, the different setups. Sunshine seemed to be very similar setups across the board, but maybe like some finishers were different. Bang Dream, there were so many different variations. Like I have seen, even just going through, once again, even if the decks aren't completely correct on the English Weiss site, if most of them are like that, there's so many different finishers, there's different plussing engines that you can go about. There's just a lot of variety, and I very much enjoy being able to see that in any type of deck, and being able to see the variety that back in the days of like OG Kantai, there was, you ran the deck this way with very little wiggle room, or you got screwed. And I say got screwed, but it's just you were either looked down upon, or you were told that you're doing it wrong, which I guess is the same as being looked down upon. It's whatever. You're either being told you're doing it wrong, or you're called a fucking noob type thing. If you didn't run it the way that everyone else was running it, people were like, whatever. But I'm like, I'm gonna run it the way I fucking want to. Fuck y'all. So being able to see not just one singular setup and the variety thereof, I prefer that so much more. It's freaking awesome, and to all the other Bang Dream players out there, even the Sunshine players, keep fucking doing what you're doing, and row fight the power. Also, I want to see Gurren Lagann top more as well. I fucking love Gurren Lagann, but so much of it requires on reverse combos. I fucking love the set. It's great, and I want to do some more stuff with a couple different deck builds that me and Moroku have been working on, as far as Gurren Lagann. But I would love to see Gurren Lagann top more, but the most of the year it just hasn't. There was the like one time, unless it's like been showing up in more of the top 8s, which I'll try to go through. I know there's a couple other people who actually put together a list of what tops, and I'll have to go through that at one point, see if I can find a list, get their permission to like put it in a podcast or something like that and show it off. But I know there's a couple people who do put like fucking Excel spreadsheets of the stuff, and I think that's like awesome. Thank y'all for the people who do that. Thank y'all for putting in the time and effort into it, because I obviously do not have that. I do not have that time and to be able to dedicate to that really as much as I did before. But that's freaking awesome. And let's see, I'm trying to think of any other stuff that's been going on. Oh man. With the upcoming stuff at the beginning of the year, I remember there was once again talking about cards that don't do a whole bunch of on reverse combos. If I remember correctly, the Amelia from ReZero, I don't remember if she was out of the trial deck or if she was out of the set. I think she was actually out of the set. I believe that Amelia plussing engine didn't require on reverse combos, so it makes me wonder how many people are going to gravitate towards some ReZero builds, and maybe we'll see some ReZero tops. That would be awesome in my opinion, because I I like the series for ReZero. Like it was crazy. Like it was a wild ride watching that anime. But we're gonna get to see even bigger waifu wars of Rem versus Amelia. So, oh yay, more shit talking than usual on the Weiss pages. But yeah, speaking of shit talking, I'm gonna use this last little bit here. I'm not gonna really go like full hour like I usually try to do for some recordings and then edit. But going back to something I was saying earlier about the controversy that was brought up over the No Game No Life and TLR sets. Once again, like that's between those shops. Luckily, My Locals hasn't really had too much of an issue with that. Only one of the other players out there ended up having an issue with not even the set that he was using. It was like with some card sleeves and a playmat he was trying to use. So when that started coming up, he was like, this is more of that stuff that I've been dealing with. He tagged me in that post saying, "Hey, Billy, what's your opinion on this?" And someone else in there, I don't know who the person was. Like the post got deleted very shortly after this. Mostly because I know the person who helps manage, is like one of the admins for this group, and they ended up taking it down, not at my request or anything, because I didn't even see this. I saw that I got tagged in a post, and when I went to go check the post, it was already gone. But supposedly, according to Andrew, because my buddy Andrew Weebuju, he was on like some really early podcast. He messaged me like sent me a thing over Messenger saying, "Hey dude, I'm really sorry." And I'm like, "Oh dude, for what?" He's like, for tagging you in that post. I didn't think that shit would happen." I'm like, "What you talking about?" He said, "Oh, you didn't see? Damn. Oh well, there was a guy up there who was like, or there were like some people up there were shit talking you." I'm like, "The fuck?" He told me what had happened, told me about the post, that people were talking about this controversy, and he had tagged me asking for my opinion, and someone got up there. I didn't see the name. Honestly, Andrew doesn't remember who the name of the person was either, but someone got up there saying, "Oh, that guy with the failed podcast? I don't want to hear his opinion," or something about not wanting to hear my opinion. And like after hearing Andrew talk about that over the couple days that I've had vacation, I've been mulling over some stuff. One, even if I knew the person's name, I wouldn't say it on here to try to call them out type thing, because I'm not going to be a person to do that. Not on the internet. That's just stupid. But I got to thinking about what the person said. Not so much like, not want my opinion, but where he said failed podcast. And one, that doesn't offend me. It actually got me thinking. And not in the same degree this guy's probably saying it to just to talk shit or try to make himself seem bigger than he actually is. Some people call that petty, but not in trying to say, "Oh, they're a bad podcast group." No, I agree that it's failed. This podcast is definitely failed in what it was initially supposed to be. I started off this podcast with the intention of just having a good time with my friends and being able to talk and do stuff. Just literally just sit around and talk about card games for however fucking long we wanted. We had some early podcasts as long as like 2 hours, almost 3 hours. I had to edit some of that shit down. This came from watching other podcasts or listening to other podcasts of like from a couple other YouTube channels, Rooster Teeth, Screw Attack, stuff like that. Listening to their podcasts, them having a good time, and I wanted to do something similar with my friends. And we would do just that. Like after we would finish a tournament, we would go in just this little like side room and whatnot, and just sit around a table and talk card games, talk Weiss Schwarz, hell, even discuss some of the stuff that happened in those tournaments that day. I even made tried to reserve a spot, quote unquote, for whoever won the tournament that day. Or try to, if they wanted to get it on the podcast. If they wanted not to, if they didn't want to, that's all cool. But I tried to get like a whole bunch of people in there who just wanted to talk, who just wanted to like sit around and have a good time, and that's what the intention was. And for probably 20 or so podcasts, that's what it was. But after a while, it definitely went astray from that. Whether that was because of people not being able to hang out, not being able to find time in their schedules because people work. People had to work. People have to. Real life is a thing outside of card games. I know that's really hard for some people to get a grasp on, and I just wasn't able to time it with everyone as we usually did. To the point now where in early podcasts we'd sit there and have like 6 people in on a podcast. Now I'm down to a Billy solo cast for a lot of stuff because of my work schedule. Because of not being able to record while I'm on the road and stuff like that. And I agree. From what the original goal was, I've completely strayed off from that. It has failed in that regard. Absolutely. But unfortunately, for those people who dislike what I do or whatever, I enjoy it. I enjoy recording stuff like this. I enjoy being able to talk with other people as far as like a lot of the other Weiss players. Hell, we've got some people who've gone to Worlds in on the podcast before. I still would like to be able to record some stuff with just my friends, with just being able to get people together and have chat and have a good time. I still want to do that, and I still plan to do that. It's just not going to happen as much, especially obviously during fucking Christmas holidays. Oh, people's schedules are just fucking insane. Which is why Billy Solocast are going to come up more often when that kind of stuff happens. I'm wanting to change up the schedule and try to record like maybe one podcast a month now, if I can. A lot of being able to do that involves just the time and energy to be able to do that. The time is obviously scheduling. I'm hoping that by trying to limit myself to like one a month, I will be able to coordinate with people a bit better and try to plan out like maybe a week or 2 in advance type thing. Try to be messaging people while I'm on the road saying, hey, when I get back in on these such and such days, would you be up for podcast or whatever? Try to get people in. But I've made just as many what I consider new friends doing the new format of like recording over Skype or whatever. Excuse me. Sorry, I had to burp there. That I've very much enjoyed recording with with a whole bunch of different new people. I've gotten to know so many new people over the entire country that I've enjoyed it. Sure, it's definitely gone astray from the initial thing, the initial idea and project. And for that, to the viewers or subscribers, whoever's listening, I apologize for that. I apologize for going a different route than what was initially planned, but shit happens. To quote a coworker, shit happens when you party naked. It's whatever. But at the same time, not going anywhere. So, giant middle finger to the people who hate us. It's whatever. I don't care. If what I say bothers you, I'm doing something right. So, with that, we're going to sign off in a bit here. I realized I got to ranting and talking a bit more than I wanted to. There is a whole bunch of stuff, though. Next month, oh my God, Worlds is coming up next month. We're going to be trying... I'm going to see, depending on who wins, if I can get them in on a podcast. I want to try and see if we can do that. Yeah, I don't care. Fuck it, bringing like multiple people. I want to get a lot of people in on this. We're going to be trying this at some point, and it's going to be fucking awesome. So, with that, we will end for now. Thank y'all very much for listening. Thank y'all very much for sticking with us for all this time. This is like 80-something podcast. I don't even know if I'm at 90 yet. When we hit 100, there's going to have to be some kind of like mile marker shit. I don't know. But thank you very much. Please subscribe if you want, if you're new. If not, hey, just thanks for stopping by and listening. And thank you to all the haters out there. Wouldn't keep doing it without you. Anyway, with that, we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.